We're here to talk about Evolve, and you're watching Connected Digital World. My name's Chloe Skew, and I'm a producer at Turtle Rock Studios.
So what does a producer's role on this game involve then?
Well, it depends actually. We've got producers who kind of focus on, cinematics, and we've got producers who focus on like scheduling, and so there's sort of different areas. My area is more sort of marketing, PR, licensing, merchandise, all that stuff. I make sure that Phil and Chris like everything that's happening and approve, and it's all good. And I help out with the social media as well, just because, more stuff.
Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, Turtle Rock is a pretty small company, so we will wear a lot of hats and chip in.
So does that mean we're going to have a plushy Goliath?
I don't know about Goliath, but there is an adorable character who might be getting a plushie at some point.
Okay.
Just saying.
Good to know.
I may or may not have seen a prototype recently.
Understood.
I'm stupid excited about. So anyway,
we'll press you more on that in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the game.
Yeah.
It's obviously won quite a lot of awards, and it's not even out yet. It's got quite a lot of good publicity, and you've had an alpha and a beta now, and the game's out in 3 or 4 weeks' time. So what's left to do on it?
Well, we went gold, so it's off to print. And that's going to be the game when it happens. Obviously there's some stuff that we're still working on tweaking. We just had the beta. We got a lot of information from that. We got a lot of telemetry that everybody over there is sort of reviewing and figuring out and deciding, okay, well, this is what we were expecting to see, and this worked out. We still did learn things from that. So that's something that we can put into a patch after launch, and because we're going to keep tweaking the game and figuring out, okay, well, it seems like the community started figuring out this new meta thing that we hadn't thought about ever, so let's tweak the balance a little bit, or so we've got some DLC that we're working on as well, which we're very excited about.
That was going to be my next question.
Well,
there's a season pass, there's going to be more content.
Yep.
Can you tell us anything about it?
Yeah, I mean, we have Behemoth coming up. We're working on him at the moment. I haven't even played him yet, and we play an hour every day of the game to play test. But really excited about him. I love his design, seeing where he came from and seeing where he ended up. He's got some really cool abilities, and I'm really excited about that, and sort of get some more gameplay out there. So that's cool. And then we teased another 4 hunters recently with some very cool silhouettes that I personally loved. I'm so excited. They were the first group that I saw from concept through to, like a final idea of what these characters are going to be like. So I've seen the whole process, and I've been able to sort of give my opinion. Like, we'll circulate emails around the office and go, oh, what do you think we should call this one, or we thought about this ability or whatever. And it's really fun. It feels like something that I've really contributed to, so can't wait to share those.
So when the game launches, how many hunters are there going to be, and how many monsters?
In the launch, there's going to be 12 hunters and 3 monsters, and then as soon as Behemoth is done, we'll be getting him out there, and then I don't even think we've figured out the timeline for the rest of anything, so it'll be when we finish it. So we're still working on it right now. So yeah.
So when I've played it at various events with 2K, obviously you've got a lot of people sitting next to each other and everyone's playing, working together. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work very well if people aren't communicating. And one of the things I noticed on the beta was people aren't quite used to working as a team. How are you guys going to deal with that? Because people are sort of going to get frustrated and go, I'm not going to play that.
Yeah, I think people will get used to it. That's what I'm really hoping for, because I know that there's still a lot of people who love Left 4 Dead, and you have to work together in Left 4 Dead. And I think that it's just maybe people aren't in the habit anymore, because there's a lot of FPS games that are very sort of lone wolf style, where you do your own thing and everybody else does their own thing. So I'm hoping that as people play, they'll get more comfortable with it and sort of past their shyness and get on the mics. But we do have pings. Pings are incredibly important. We use them a ton in the studio. So that's kind of like, you can ping Tyrant or something and it'll show up orange. So, okay, stay clear of that. And then it'll go red if you ping the monster. So if you see the monster and you're like, oh, it's over there, you spam the pings and it's like yelling. Like, pay attention to this thing. So, we've built some stuff in that's supposed to communicate even if you're not going to get on the chat. But, ideally, it's so much more fun when you talk to people. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Why should people play Evolve?
Because it's super fun, and we made it to be fun. Phil and Chris made a game that they wanted to play. They are gamers, and they're super passionate about this. And it's something they've been thinking about for a long time and really wanting to make. And finally, the technology is there to make it work. So, they've been playing it for 3 years, and it's grown and it's changed, and the fun is always the priority. Like, okay, we've introduced something new to the game. Is it still fun? Well, not really. It's a bit tedious. Okay, well, what did we break? How do we fix this? The maps got smaller, and we introduced the mobile arena, and, we had classes specifically in different loadouts for different characters. And, I come from MMOs. Like, I'm an MMORPG kind of person, and first-person shooters have always sort of scared me. And I sat down and I played Evolve for the first time and was like, oh my god, this is so fun. And I played Griffin, and I landed some harpoons, and the QA team that I was playing with was like, yeah, well done, good harpoon. And I was like, I'm so pleased with myself. And I think it can be really enjoyable from a beginner standpoint, and also really enjoyable from like a professional sort of like, deep strategy, thinking about, choke points and how to cut off the monster and all that sort of stuff. And I think there's so much variance there in the type of player it can appeal to and the type of play style. And I think it's one of those things where, when I first heard the idea, it wasn't announced yet, and I was like, all right, that sounds whatever. And then I played it. It was like, oh my god, this is so much fun. And I think that we've needed to test the game because we want it to run as smoothly as possible at launch. But it's also like, we want people to play it because you don't really get it until you play it, and then you're like, oh, okay, this is cool. So yeah, I want people to play it because I think it's fun. I think it's different. So
cool. Tell us 5 cool things about Evolve.
5 cool things about Evolve. First thing that comes into my mind for whatever reason is Daisy used to just fall out of the dropship. And it was a bit sad because you're like, the hunters have jetpacks and that makes sense, but and Daisy just like leaps out. So we eventually gave her a parachute, and so she's now got this cute little parachute that deploys and gently deposits her on the ground.
Well, that was nice of you.
And she also didn't used to have a climb animation, so she would sort of leap on the cliff, and then they were like, this doesn't look right, so we created an animation for her. Let's see, random things. What's fun? Something really cool that's kind of a pro tip, for as pro as I get. Lazarus can revive wildlife, not just hunters. So say you really want this perk, and it's like damage bonus, which is really great for the hunters, but it's also really great for the monster. So, the monster's like hiding and watching the hunters take down this perk, planning to like eat it after they're gone and get that buff as well. So the hunters all grab the perk, and Lazarus brings it back to life. And the monster goes, oh, and I have to kill it again in order to get the perk. So it makes life a bit more difficult, and it's a good way of denying or delaying that buff for the monster. So that's 2. Let's see. Wraith was originally sort of a siren. So you can still see she's got like kind of a womanish shape in there, but she's also just terrifying because Chris really wanted her to be like unsettling, and that Chris and Phil and the concept guys were just like, they had this idea of this sort of siren woman who was like a floating mermaid type, and like some of the concept drawings of her originally, she's got sort of this like space age helmet on and is very more human like, and I loved that. I love those concept drawings. They're some of my favorites because I just thought that was so cool. We've got Goliath, who's very sort of like, oh, smash. And for something a little bit more delicate and maybe intelligent, sneaky. I love that. There's a hidden cupcake.
You've got to tell us. You can't just say that. You can't just say that. I'm saying nothing else.
Yeah,
there's a hidden cupcake. Tell us about this hidden cupcake.
So originally in the game, when it was very early days, when you'd kill wildlife as the monster, it would turn into like steaks and like drumsticks. They were sort of cartoony, and that was what you ate. That was food, to signify food. And when hunters died, they become cupcakes.
Okay.
So there's like a big history in the game with cupcakes. We've got like a screensaver. It's like some puddle of blood with the cupcake. It's cupcaked.
So you guys like your cupcakes?
We like our cupcakes. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean you've got to fuel the programming, long hours.
I can respect that.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, at one point Bucket had a moustache.
Okay, so we're getting all the info.
I have to personally say that I'm really sad that he doesn't still have it. I think he should also have a top hat. And perhaps even a monocle. I think it would go along with his sort of cheeky, confusing British robot sort of thing.
Okay. DLC perhaps.
Maybe. I will push for that one, but I think at the moment we're only doing weapon skins. So
they just don't know what to do.
maybe down the road. Yeah. Soon.
So which is your favourite hunter and which is your favourite monster?
My favourite hunter, I gotta say, probably Markov. I didn't like him for a long time. I loved Maggie, and I feel like I go through phases. So there's sort of like, I'll play something for a long. I played Maggie for ages. I was playing her at E3 and PAX Prime, and then I started playing Markov because people were like, oh, I can't play Assault. It's too much responsibility doing all that damage. And I was like, okay, I'm a Markov. And then I started getting really good at kiting. And you lay down mines and you're running away from the monster and you set off mines. So I've been really enjoying Markov. Favorite monster, probably be Wraith. Just because she's so unnerving. And the first couple of times I played against her, I was just so overwhelmed. I felt like the hunters would have, seeing her for the first time, just being like, "What is that? Where is it? I'm so confused." So I think she's very cool.
Okay. Yeah. Tell us about the team and the beards.
Oh, I'd love to. So we did this thing, No Shave Till Ship, and Chris and Phil are really good guys and wanted to do something kind of fun and good for morale and also good for soul, sort of charity thing. So back in January they stopped shaving, and we had, I think we started with maybe 37 guys who signed the thing, and we lost a few dropped out, and we ended up with 33 who grew beards all the way up until we went gold. And we had some spectacular beards. And we measured them all because for every inch of beard, we donated $50 to charity. It's Child's Play charity, and they provide games and game systems for kids in hospitals and, victims of domestic abuse, which is just, they need something, right? So it was a really good cause that we were all really excited about. And we measured all the beards, and they grew over 13 feet of beards. I don't know what that is in English measurements because I've lived in the States for too long, but we figured out that if it was growing on Goliath, it would reach to below his waist.
Wow, that's pretty
quite
impressive.
A lot of beard. If anybody's seen his statue in person, it's quite impressive. And then the women also, we were like, well, we want to participate. I personally can't grow a beard, so we decided we would cut our hair. So I cut off 10 inches back in February. And then, of course, we wrote the contract, and they were like, yeah, don't cut your hair and then cut it at gold. And I was like, oh, shoot, I've already done it. So I did my contribution early, but we've had a couple of people cut off like 10 and 12 inches. So it's really cool, and we were very excited to get behind it. And hopefully, we've got some people who are still holding on till ship. Phil's really adamant that he's not going to shave until game is on shelves. But then I'm going to put out some pictures and video of the de-bearding processes.
Nice.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
So what's next for you guys then?
Hard at work on DLC, and making sure that everything is all ready to go at launch, and in case there needs to be a day zero patch with some fixes or anything that didn't make it onto the disc, want to make sure that that's all lined up, and getting Behemoth balanced and all polished up, and getting all those final particle effects in that weren't in the test footage that we put out. So yeah, very busy with that.
Remind everyone when the game's out.
And the game comes out on February 10th of this year. I'm very excited. It's almost here. And it's going to be available on Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and PC.
Thank you very much for your time
Thank
today.
you.
I will place mine. Take shelter!
Thanks for watching. Why not subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the link on the screen now.